there's a sight to gladden all our viewers over there in New Zealand. We welcome them to the telecast, and there are plenty of Kiwi visitors here at the cricket ground this afternoon. There's the Australian team. Number 1, the fullback, Gary Jack. Number 2, Michael O'Connor on the flank, the goal kicker. Gene Miles and Brett Kenny, the centres. Les Kiss out in the wing there, number 5, making his debut for Australia. Wally Lewis and Peter Sterling are the halves. Wayne Pearce is the vice-captain. Steve Folkes and Noel Cleal, the second rowers. Peter Tunks and Stevie Roach, the props, with Roy Simmons, the hooker. Let's have a look at the Kiwis now, a team in which there are 4 changes. Gary Kemble comes back into the side as fullback. Dean Bell is out on the wing. Big Joe Rapati joins Mark Ilya in the centres, a new centre combination. Dane O'Hara on the wing. Philippina and Gary Freeman are the halves. The forwards, Gary Prohm is the lock forward. Hugh McGahn and Mark Graham, the second row forwards. Kurt Sorensen and Owen Wright are the props. And the new hooker in the side is number 9, Barry Harvey. The referee, fairly controversial fellow. I think he's a great referee. His name's Robin Whitfield. He's an Englishman and about to kick off. For Australia, Wally Lewis, your commentator, Darryl Eastlake.
Thank you, Michael. Everything's set now for a big test match. Can the Kiwis come back in this series? This one will tell us Australia drives the ball down. Interesting to note, too, in 38 years here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, the first test in 1948. And New Zealand won that 21-19. The next win was in 1952. In the third test here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, they won that 19-9. And they had to wait till 1959 for the third test, 28-12. And that was the last victory they've had at the Sydney Cricket Ground, as Gary Jack takes the ball for Australia now. First touch of the ball, the man of the match at Carlisle Park. Great performance. Goes back to Lewis, out to Sterling. And on come the runners as Pearce winds up. And they come in and there's Freeman, the halfback. The new halfback comes from the North Coat Club in Auckland. Age 24, making his test debut. Saw him in the motel last night. Very nervous about this game, but hopes he can have a big one. I believe he's a pretty quick boy around the base of the scrum, so it'll be interesting to see how he can handle the nerves here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. As Australia bring it up again. Roach will play it back to Simmons. The clearing kick for Lewis, and there was a high one from Sorensen. Sorensen went up high, and Lewis hasn't moved, and it's on. And we predicted there might be a little biffo in this match early on, and it's already started. The high tackle there, a head-high tackle on Lewis, and he didn't move. Look at McGahn holding Tunks back. Look at the look on Tunks's face. Fired up for this test, Tunks. Referee Whitfield settles him down. Look at Tunks talking too. Plenty of feeling already out here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Whitfield is sending 10 minutes off in the bin. 10 minutes off. Well, a crucial thing that's happened here to New Zealand, and no one's moved yet. He's indicated time off. He's indicated time off, the referee. Lewis on the ground. Let's have a look at this again. There's Lewis with the ball. Sorensen comes through and bang, thank you. Did not miss him. Another angle for you as Lewis takes the ball and bang, big Kurt Sorensen drops him, and Lewis went down like a sack of potatoes. Lewis still down. Well, Jack Gibson, a pretty fiery start to a game that we thought they might liven proceedings up, but maybe not so early.
Well, I think the referee led towards it because there was no discipline in the last tackle. They held Australia down for a very long period there, and he didn't want to do anything, so he can be blamed.
Okay, everybody intact on the field. Australia kick for touch, and this will put them in a good attacking position early up. Simmons out to Sterling now. There's Kenny on to Tunks, and he's got that knee very heavily strapped again. Tunks, let's hope he can finish this test match. He's had a very courageous year playing with this injury. Australia using the ball, and some big running here and some heavy defence with Pearce. Look at Rapati over the top of him, and there's plenty of elbows going in there as Pearce gets up with a smile on his face too. Well, the Kiwis have certainly been psyching themselves up for the last 2 days, and look at this defence. Bang, Olsen, Philippina, head on, gets belted out of the way by Pearce. Over the top, Joe Rapati. We've spent the last 2 days with the Kiwi camp, and they really have been psyching up for this match. They claim it's the most important one they've played in the last 15 years. Head-to-head, Australia overall have defeated New Zealand 38 times and New Zealand's 19 times. At the Sydney Cricket Ground, head-to-head, Australia 12 victories, New Zealand 3. O'Connor now with a chance to put first points on the board for Australia. Not an easy kick first up, but he's been kicking very well this season. Has another look, O'Connor, taking plenty of time. Round the corner it goes. Well, he's got the height, he's got the distance, and it comes off the post. No points. New Zealand running out. And they're inside their 22 as Sorensen takes it up. Oh, and in come the Australian defence, and they belt Sorensen down too. Oh, they've hurt Sorensen. Sorensen hasn't come up with that one. Pulls some big defence. Steve Roach being told to cool it, but let me tell you, after the match in Auckland, there was a few things that they weren't happy with Kurt Sorensen's play, especially in back play, and they were going to meet again at the Sydney Cricket Ground. That just happened. Liam Maurice, a fiery start, and this is a tough one.
Well, what we expected, Daryl, and Kurt Sorensen seems to be okay, although I must admit that that incident in that opening minute would have certainly resulted in a dismissal in Sydney football, been allowed to continue with just a penalty. Now here the Kiwis, what can they do? This is Joe Rapati taking play up to about 5 metres short of the halfway mark. No score in this test match. As Owen Wright slips as he comes to the tacklers. Simmons was there to hold him. Now Graham up to the halfway mark, with the Australian forwards in there to make the tackle. Working as a unit, the Australian forwards in defence. The halfback Freeman now to Philip Piner. And into touch. Well, pretty strong defence, as Mark Elio was pushed over the touchline by the Australian defence. So the first scrum of the match will go down 5 metres inside the Australian half. I'll have to watch this scrum closely. There could be a bit of squaring up going on in there. Australia get the penalty. It's not a penalty. He's putting it down again. Now he has given the penalty. The New Zealanders didn't want to accept it.
Well, New Zealand certainly didn't expect to win that scrum. Their whole back line was in front of their lock on that play.
So Roy Simmons will restart play now with this free kick just inside the Kiwi territory. Lewis, running off Lewis was Roach. 10 metres inside New Zealand half now. Simmons again getting it away to Lewis. He's made the break. Lewis still going strongly, looks for support. Out of one tackle, still going Lewis. A pass back inside. Finally out to Sterling, but the referee has halted play. Must have been a little knock on in there as Lewis charged downfield. Just bumped Dean Bell out the way, stood in the tackle. There was the knock on. And the penalty this time has gone to New Zealand. Not packing in straight. There's the ruling. Kemble will come up to take the free kick on his own quarter line. No score in this test match. It's Gary Kemble, one of the new faces in this second test from the team that played in Auckland. Here's Sorensen. And the new Australian forwards again eager to meet him. Away to Freeman. Now to Mark Graham in centre field. Plenty of defence though, with Wayne Pearce showing the way. Now it's to Wright and across to McGann and on to Kemble. Kemble made about 5 metres before he's put down on the far side of the field. Now it's to Freeman, to Philip Piner, to Prome. And Prome making a solid tackle. Gee, that's a good hit. Wayne Pearce, who else? Now to McGann. McGann hit as he put the foot to the ball. It's down for Les Kiss. Big day for Les Kiss, playing in his first test match. Put down 35 metres out from his own line. Now it's to Sterling and across to Gary Jack, running across field. Can't beat the tackle of Owen Wright though, and put down 40 metres out from the Australian line. Running strongly is Crusher Cleal. Takes play back inside New Zealand's half. No score in this test match. Back it comes for Sterling. A little kick through. Kemble waiting for it and takes it cleanly and beats the It's the tackle of Folkes, who was following the kick through. Finally caught and plays it now. It's to Freeman. Now it's to McGann. And Joe Rapati. Nowhere to go, though. The defence up there very quickly to put him down. Gene Miles in there to make the tackle. Now it's with Freeman. And across to Mark Graham. A nice pass from Graham. A beautiful ball up there for Mark Elia. Mark Graham's going to have to do plenty of that to keep his side in this game. The pass to Sorensen looked questionable, but it's been allowed to continue. Now it's across for Owen Wright, who's kicking. O'Connor down there waiting for it, 32 metres out from his own line now. Gary Jack's with him, but O'Connor elects to take the tackle. And Miles running from dummy half, made about 5 metres. Almost to the halfway mark now as Simmons fires the pass. And Folkes will play it right on the halfway mark. Now it's with Tunks. Just inside the New Zealand half. Checking the back weights, you'll see that the New Zealanders have a slight weight advantage in the backs. Here's Lewis, the little kick through. Kemble chasing it. The kick's going to be too good, though. Nice kick from Lewis. And the scrum will be put down only 15 metres out from the New Zealand line. Does it with consummate ease, doesn't he? He seems to have plenty of time, the mark of a great player. Kemble read the play, but the kick was just too good. Fine kick from the Australian skipper. Scrum's gone with the feed, and this is the new halfback, Gary Freeman. Just on his own quarter line. Australia play at it in the play the ball, and the tackle count will be restarted. That's back with Prome on his own quarter line and pushed back a metre or two by Crusher Cleal. No score in a very tense test match, Darryl.
Certainly is, but the Kiwis have come out with a lot more determination, and we welcome New Zealand to the telecast. Pictures going through TVNZ television right throughout New Zealand. Great to have you there, and there's another kick, this time from New Zealand finding the line. Hugh McGann putting his boot to the ball. And that certainly gained them valued territory. Right, this scrum will pack now, midway between the half and the quarter. Australia's into the ground. Australia's ball out to Lewis. Defence comes up at Gary Jack. Gary Jack makes a break, gets it back to Kenny. Kenny puts on the face now. Puts a pass right over the head, but can't be taken by Australia. New Zealand come up with the ball. Corner let off there for the Kiwis as Australia started to open up with some pace with Kenny. New Zealand now with the ball. And this possession at the moment seesawing as Prome is flung to the ground. Back on their 22. Comes back to Olsen, Filipina, he bumps out of one Olsen. Over the top they come down, but Tunks has wrapped him up, ball and all. And they're just outside that danger area as McGann goes for a run. Gets it back to Bell, but Bell tackled about 4 metres in from touch. And they're still not far from that 22 as they range away through Sorensen. He handballs it over. Now they've got a chance with an overlap. It gets out to Bell. Bell gets some pace on as they go over the halfway line. They're still going, the Kiwis. Holding a lot of chance in the Kiwis. If they can open it up now, and the defence from Australia comes over, still going. Awesome, good play then as Freeman danced around. They bottle a little break up though on the 5th tackle. He's hurt too, young Freeman. Referee is saying holding play up. And listen to the chant going up. There's plenty of Kiwi support here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Well, the Kiwis started to run on the ball there. They've got a penalty out of all that, but they look like they're heading for 4 points, Jack Gibson.
Well, the play should have been pulled up that 4 or 5 passes back because it was a blatant forward pass, and that he was a metre or so offside, but Whitfield was close enough to see it.
Well, here's a play you're familiar with. The wall goes up now. The Kiwi wall, that's a move that Jack Gibson instigated at Parramatta some years ago. But the black and whites now have the ball. Lined out nice and deep to Sorensen now goes for a gallop. In comes the defence. They meet him and wrap him up. He can't unload, but they're inside Australia's 22 with a chance to attack. Harvey, the hooker, dummy half, gets it out through Freeman. Onto Olsen, Filipina. He puts it, he's out of one. Olsen two. He's got runners with Mark Graham. Mark Graham unloads them to Olsen, Filipina, and he's there. The big man has crashed over and come back alive and puts first points on the board for the Kiwis. Off a Mark Graham pass. Good football. Here it is again now. It comes across the back line. Freeman gets it over to Olsen Filipina. Now look at this, a bumping run, and through he goes. Unloads a nice pass to Mark Graham. Mark Graham has O'Connor and Jack hanging off him. Gets it back to Olsen Filipina, and he goes over for the Kiwis.
Well, here we go with Olsen's try. This, he gets rid of Simmons here. It's a good shot off, but he backs up. That's what he seldom does, but he did it today, and he's rewarded with 4.
He's an amazing player. Olsen Filipina, when he puts a black and white jumper on, honestly, he just grows taller, wider and meaner, and shows all of the skills that we know he's possessed, but very rarely shows in this country. Missed tackles Australia, 6 New Zealand 1 at this stage, with a kick to come now, the score 4-0. And there he is, the man we're talking about, ready to convert his own try, handled twice to go over that line. 100 test points for New Zealand, a magnificent effort. Runs off a pretty short area. Look at this power on the man's legs, they're huge. The concentration written all over his face. Sets himself only 2 paces. Bang, there's the ball in the air. And he's got the points too. So the Kiwis lead Australia 6-0 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Australia coming back now. Simmons has been down getting some attention while it's going on. Just while we're on about Olsen Filipina, he joined Balmain in 1980, then Eastern Suburbs, and now with Norths. But by gee, if they could only get him to play the football that he plays, then every turns out for his country. Well, Australia to restart now through Wally Lewis. And the Kiwis come back now through Prome. Short pass there, and they're just setting themselves up. Liam Maurice, that's the start that Graham Lowe wanted. Can they go on with it?
Sure is. He told us at breakfast this morning that his main ambition was to score first, put first points on the board. He's done that. Now it's up to his side to just maintain that lead from the New Zealand point of view. New Zealand in possession on their own quarter line. Penalties have gone 2-1 to Australia. Four of these Kiwis, of course, are based in New Zealand. Jarapati, Owen Wright, and the 2 new chums, Barry Harvey and Gary Freeman. Now, Les Kiss for Australia, 10 metres inside his own half. The Kiwis lead in this test match by 6 points to nothing as Gary Jack tries to skirt wide and probe for that opening. It wasn't there. Now Sterling and Lewis and Pearce. But again, this Kiwi defence very enthusiastic, although Pearce was able to slip it. It's now back with Sterling. A half gap there for Sterling. Able to offload to Cleal, who's put it down. Picked up by Roy Simmons, but referee Whitfield will put the scrum down for the knock-on. This start not only ideal from a New Zealand point of view, but from Olsen Filipina, the man who scored the try. We know with confidence he can be absolutely magic. Penalty's gone to New Zealand from the scrum, and again, not packing in correctly is the ruling from referee Whitfield. He's pinged Australia a couple of times for that so far. Kimball kicking for touch and finding it just on the quarter line, so more pressure for Australia as the Kiwis mount yet another attack. What can they do this time? And they've gone without the ball, so that was a bad mistake on the first tackle. That is a bad mistake from the Kiwis. Penalties 4-3 to New Zealand at this stage as Australia try to bring it out, and some hefty work going in. As Lewis plays it, Lewis has come in for a bit of attention in this match so far. Now Tunk's playing it. Simmons switches the point of attack with a pass to Roach. Roach takes the tackle just short of a halfway mark. Simmons again firing it to Sterling. The kick ahead from Sterling. Kemble read it, but the kick might just... No, it's bounced back in for him, and Kemble takes it well. Has O'Hara with him as he reaches the quarter line. O'Hara has it now, and O'Hara is pulled down just outside the New Zealand quarter. Freeman, the halfback, getting it away to Elia. Out of one. Dancing around, still going strongly and flicking a pass out, which is picked up by O'Connor for Australia. So O'Connor will now play it, and Australia on the attack, needing to get back on the board quickly here as Sterling quickly smothered in the tackle by Filipina. Now here comes Tunks out of one to the quarter line before he's put down. Simmons at dummy half, again to Sterling and Lewis, and then Miles, and then Kenny to the quarter line, getting the pass to Kiss saw the gap, got support too from Kenny, and he's in to score. Miles in to score. Well, they came back very quickly, the Australians. Good passing, good backing up, and the overlap was there. Plenty of the backs involved in it, and it was finally Miles who was there to take the final pass. Watch it, that was Sterling. Sterling's pass to Kenny, and then Miles pass to Kenny, who was able to offload to Kiss, but Miles, who threw the pass to him, was able to back up and take the pass and in for a very good Australian try.
Well, the whole back line had a piece of this play. It was just an excellent back line football manoeuvre. What they say at the wrestles.
Miles and Kenny very much involved in it, with Kiss, of course. And finally it was Miles who was able to put the ball down. There's Kiss in his test debut. Good start, very much involved in that try. Now Michael O'Connor has the ball placed 10 metres in from the touchline. Steadies himself. He looks good in the air. It's there. It's a lovely kick from O'Connor. Scores are all tied up at the cricket ground. 6-all.
All at the Sydney cricket ground. And we've got a test match on our hands. Kiwis full of determination. The Australians fighting back quickly. This is what test football's all about. Joe Rapati. Big, strong and mean, this fella. Normally on the wing, playing centre today in the reshuffled back line for New Zealand, and so far looking pretty good. Drives the ball off now. Back for Sterling. He gets it under Gary Jack. And Gary Jack brings it, well, back to about 18 metres out from the line. Royce Simmons is dummy half. Comes on to Stephen Folkes. Wrapped up pretty quickly. Freeman, pretty determined little tackler, this fellow. He's in everything, and Simmons gets a couple of little cheeky runs. Freeman from the North Coat Club in Auckland, age 24, having his debut, and the number 7 jumper for New Zealand today, as Roach puts his head down and goes another 3 or 4 metres, and he and Kurt Sorensen have been having a running battle here at the Sydney Cricket Ground as Lewis puts the ball in the air. Gary Kemble back to take it, and takes it well. Kemble, he's very safe. Darryl Williams, of course, the fellow who was the custodian for the New Zealanders in Auckland, being dropped, and Kemble back. Oh, and there's some big defence for Australia as they thump them down. Oh, they hit the deck. Big Joe. The cricket ground rumbles as the Kiwis bring it back, but there's plenty of gang tackling coming in from Australia. They're wrapping them up, ball and all. Back for a clearing kick from McGahn. Just sneaks it in. And the ball rolls into touch, and they've made probably about 1.5 metres. New Zealand will get the feed in this scrum, so touched by Peter Sterling, so not a bad kick after all. They'll get the ball back. Prome breaks early, gets it to Freeman. Freeman dancing on the halfway line now. New Zealand go the skinny side again with Prome. He makes 4 or 5 valuable ones too, and they're in Australia's half now. Harvey gets it onto Sorensen. Sorensen with a ball, and down Sorensen goes, and there's big men meet there. Oh, Tunks and Roach, the green machine from Australia, meet the Black Terror from New Zealand as the ball spins out now. There's plenty of dancing and stepping going on, and they're not going anywhere, New Zealand. They're back just in Australia's half. McGahn slams the ball down, but it'll go to O'Connor. And O'Connor comes across midfield. No support, so he takes the tackle. And the defence, good chase there from New Zealand. Gary Jack Running away now as McGahn wraps him up. Back to Crusher. Cleal goes from there. Crusher, in they come. Owen Wright doing a lot of defensive work for New Zealand. To Simmons. And comes the runners with Tunks. Very determined Tunks today. Hitting the line very hard. Back to Simmons. On to Sterling. Ball in the air now. Good looking kick from Sterling as it hits the end, and that rugby league bounce. It's so unpredictable. Back in the hands of Dane O'Hara, the most capped player for New Zealand. He's brought down, so good chasing from both sides here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It was Pearce that did the chasing for Australia as Kemble runs it away. His tackle on the 22 centre field. McGahn run around with Rapati on the Dean Bell. Bell, plenty of pace, scored a very good try in Auckland in the mud. And New Zealand, well, they seem to be attacking, Jack, but they seem to be going 1 or 2 off the ruck.
Well, they're going 3 plays and they're going to kick it, which they've done. I think that both teams want to play that as soon as they get in their 25.
Here's Les Kiss. Kiss for the chance. He's got plenty of pace. Kiss goes down into support coming up. They might miss it. He throws a basket on. And Gary Jack's in for Australia. And that's a great try. Les Kiss opened him up as the Australians grab him up. But it was Gary Jack that went in. Oh boy, has he got some pace. Les Kiss, the North Sydney Fire, got on to Gary Jack from Balmain. And he scored for Australia. See it again. Kiss has taken the ball nicely in the air. He stood Dane O'Hara up with no trouble. Across they come. It was Elia that missed him. Kiss there has a look back inside as the support comes. Positioned himself perfectly, and Gary Jack always there, safe as the bank, over right under the post.
Yeah, well, Kiss was great here. He done a great play. He beat 3 or 4 off, but to me, the big playmaker was Gary Jack. He had to run 50 or 60 yards. He anticipated Kiss was going to do something. And that's the difference between a great player and an ordinary one.
There's the conversion, Jack Gibson. So, Australia now 12 over New Zealand 6.
Okay, now New Zealand, after starting off so well, find themselves with a 6-point deficit, 12-6. Marvellous effort from Les Kiss. Test debut for him. He's been involved in the 2 Australian tries, particularly that last one, magic run. Now Joe Rapati to restart play for New Zealand. Look at the sun too, a difficult one for Pearce to take. Able to offload as well. O'Connor there to back him up. 32 metres out from the Australian line. Oakes put down. 12-6 the score in favour of Australia in this second of 3 test matches. New Zealand may well have got this in to play the ball. They did. It's pretty smart work. Freeman the halfback. And now Olsen Filipina putting it down, so Australia pick it up again. This time it's Lewis who comes up with it. And Lewis is only, well, he's 32 metres out from his own line as Simmons gives the blindside pass to Crusher. Cleal almost through Crusher, but couldn't regain his feet. Simmons again firing it away to Roach. The Australian forwards now full of running. Jack playing with a lot of confidence.
Well, they take it up now. They're taking 3 or 4 forward shots and into their back line.
Blindside again is Cleal. Now the backs are calling for it. The Australian backs call for it. Lewis to Sterling. Cut out pass for Brett Kenny. Couldn't take it well though. Picked up by New Zealand. Still running as Dean Bell is put down 10 metres inside the Australian half. Sorensen made 5 metres. This is the new hooker Harvey. And he's 32 metres out from the Australian line. Now it's with Mark Graham. Takes the tackle. Looking for support at this stage. Now what can the Kiwis do? It's across the back line of Filipina. Now Rapati. And now Elia. Beat the tackle though. The Australian defence very, very good. That was Lewis in there for it. Last tackle signal for New Zealand as O'Hara goes for a run. Well, was the last tackle, and O'Hara didn't really have anything to do with that.
Well, they probably should have put the kick on, because the handover bit, that's slow motion. And if they're going to hang around and do that, they're going to get dismantled.
So from the handover situation, Australia in centre field as Roach plays it. And Simmons quickly caught before he even had a chance to pass the ball. Where did that play come from? Now it's with Lewis. The kick through from Lewis sends O'Hara back for it, and it's foul touch again. The kick's too good. Well, O'Hara thought he had that covered, and I must admit so did I, but that ball bouncing magnificently for Lewis again. O'Hara running back for it, seemed to have it covered, but no, over the line it goes. So the scrum with a New Zealand feed from that Lewis kick, just short of the New Zealand quarter line. Freeman, the halfback, caught at the scrum base. Now Prome to Filipina, to Rapati. Rapati to the quarter line before he's put down by Kenny and Miles. Filipina is a dummy half. Across to Prome, and now to Elia. Folks is around his ankles, but he's still able to offload the pass back to Harvey. 35 metres out from their own line, the Kiwis now, as Wright stands and offloads. It was McGann who took the pass. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. 12-6, Australia lead in the second test match. Freeman getting it away to Filipina. Now to Rapati. Nowhere to go for Rapati, but he went straight ahead. And a good little gain too, as the last tackle is signalled for the Kiwis. What will they do on the last tackle this time? It's back to Filipina. He's going to run on his own. Made 10. The little kick through from the New Zealand 5-8, and he's almost going to regather, but just beaten to the ball. And they seem to stand off Filipina again, the Australians.
Yeah, they're unlucky on that play, but I still feel they've got to get the score before this half is over, and there's 8 minutes left, because they're not going to beat Australia out in condition. You have the advantage there.
Got Australia in possession, 32 metres out from their own line. Calling for it now. Simmons gives it away to Sterling. The run around with Simmons, and going on his own, but straight into the waiting arms of Mark Graham. So 12-6, 8 minutes to half-time, Darryl.
Australia attacking again, and a loose pass there off the ground, picked up very quickly to Sorensen. They get it on to Freeman. Oh, Freeman just wrapped up Les Kiss, ball and all. Sorensen dummy half. Through Mark Graham, goes on to Dane O'Hara. Dane O'Hara bounced out. Big tackle from touch. Is Harvey from the Taranaki club in New Zealand. Gets on to Mark Graham. Mark Graham, in the giant of a man, stands, and he's belted down, but he's made good territory. They're almost to the 22. Harvey, the new hooker, flings one out to Freeman, the new halfback. Gets it on to Filipina, on to Rapati. Rapati puts a little rugby chip through, and they follow it, but Gary Jack is there, chased by Elia. He gets out of Elia's attack, and also Elia comes back. Now there's Dean Bell, still going. O'Connor, stepping well. O'Connor, he's still standing. They've got to knock Australia down.
Well, they tried to knock him down from the top instead of the bottom. That's where they blew.
Robin Whitfield pulls play up for the knock-on, and incidentally, Robin Whitfield, it's his first test at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Calls time off. Very colourful referee, not only in the apparel that he wears, but his signals and the way he runs with the game. Having a talk at the moment to Big Roach. He says, let's pack the scrum. Scrums, 3 have gone 3 to New Zealand, 1 to Australia. Freeman has got the ball this time. So the Kiwis with a chance now before half-time. They're deep in Australian territory. Can they get the ball over the line? That's the thing they're trying to do, as Prime is wrapped up with Sterling. Also Folks in there to assist. Comes back to Harvey. Pass out for Mark Graham. He's certainly eager today, the big fella, to run onto the ball, and they're just on the 22. 3 tackles left as Harvey, the dummy half, has a look around. Where's it going to go? Comes back to Freeman. He slips. Well, they're wasting their tackles now as Sterling wrapped him up. Harvey this time flings it out. Joe Rapati says, I'll have a run. He's belted down. And they're actually lost ground now. They've lost probably 15 metres in this movement of Sorensen. He has a stab for the line. Ball loose again. Players going everywhere for it. Pretty scrappy play at the moment. And the referee will bring him back and put a scrum back. Double knock on. Calls time off again. The touch judge in, Jack. Well, he's pulling up play a fair bit here.
Well, you're one of the stewards in there to report a New Zealand player. Oh, I don't know what.
Kicks in play, New Zealand 11, Australia 6. To talk to Harvey. The scrum is ready to pack. 12-6 Australia leading this test match at the moment. Olsen Filipina wrapped up by Lewis and also Gene Miles. They drive him back. Freeman pointing here and giving the referee some signals. On it goes to Prome. Prome also wrapped up, and see how Australia are wrapping up the ball and all there, not letting the Kiwis pass. As Harvey says, come on, play it. The one on right. He unloads this time, back to Harvey, but straight away the Australian defence there to meet them. Well, they've got to start to try and go over the top of this Australian defence, I think, Jack. It's too strong.
It's the only way to get through it. I think the kicking game's got to come in. They've got to put it up there so they've got a possibility of making a recovery of their own kick.
Well, Filipina nearly did it before. Very unlucky with the bounce as Elia gets it now. He's grasped by big Gene Miles.
So they've had 5 or 6 plays with no yards.
They've gone nowhere. That kick again is charged down. It was touched by Australia. So the referee says 6 more now. They've got another 6 tackles. Let's see what they can do this time. They've gone absolutely nowhere in the last set of 6. Rapati gets it back to Filipina. Filipina comes back inside, flicks the ball back for Freeman. Freeman now stepping toward the halfway line, but he's put down. Sorensen decides he'll take it up. Sorensen with a hard run. Lovely ball out from Sorensen. They get it on to Dane O'Hara. And he's just managed to stay in touch. He would be centimetres in the field of play now as they get it out to Mark Graham. Graham with a hard charging run, but Cleal over the top. Wraps him up. Harvey onto Prome, onto Filipina, comes onto Elia. Stephen floats around the ankles. Good tackler. Prome. Wright puts the ball up again. Gary Jack forced to run back for the ball. New Zealand chasers coming through, and he just toes the line, but the referee's brought him back out. Ian Maurice, well, I don't know. I think they've got to start to kick. They look better when they put the ball in the air.
Well, they put a bit of pressure on the Australians that way. They're certainly not putting any pressure on them, Jack, are they, by just running straight into the tackles?
Well, they had 12 players in that sortie. They got a rebound and they picked it up, and they only picked up 15 yards on the 12 players before they kicked. They started on the halfway and advanced at 15 yards. It wasn't great over.
Got 4 minutes to half time in this second test match, with Australia leading by 12 points to 6. As Lewis restarts play with the goal line dropout down for Hugh McGahn on the halfway mark, immediately giving it away to Kemble. And Kemble running to the vacant wing spot. His winger Bell had come on the other side, so there was nobody to run to. So he just takes the tackle now, 10 metres inside Australia's territory, as Freeman gets it back to Bell. A little run around, and Bell in centre field now. We'll play it. Harvey at dummy half. Across to Prome. Now it's across to Graham. Played very strongly in this first half, Graham. Done some very nice things. Takes the tackle. Harvey goes blindside. Turns back inside for Sorensen. And running off him was Freeman, but he's gone without it. Over his shoulder. No knock on. And Graham was there to pick up the dregs. Now again, Freeman, a dummy, and back to Sorensen. Sorensen almost through, linking up now. A good pass back for the hooker, Harvey. Harvey is caught by Jack, still going out of the tackle, and will play it only about 8 metres out. Golden opportunity for the Kiwis to level the scores just before half-time. Here they go across the back line. It's to Prome. Prome's put the bomb in the air. Nobody at home. Jack's back there for it and takes it nicely and caught in the in-goal area. Well, they used the kick then, Jack, but I'm not sure that it was the right thing.
Well, it wasn't high enough. Because they'd never give their runners a chance to get under the football. Jack had plenty of time to pick it up. And besides, he took a pretty late shot. He was on the ground. The Kiwi come in well after the tackle.
Well, there he is caught, and then, yes, over the top again. So Jack receiving attention. He seems to be okay now. That was Prome who came in pretty late. So again, the goal line dropout. The Kiwis almost squared it up then. Let the opportunity slip by. Here's Dane O'Hara picking up the loose ball back inside the Australian half, 10 metres in fact before he's put down. Tackler Pearce. Now here's McGahn. And again the defence there to meet him with Tunks and Roach combining. Blindside is Owen Wright. To Mark Graham to Sorensen. Sorensen still going. Able to offload to Owen Wright. He's gone without it right. Now here's Australia picking up as Simmons got it away to Folks. And Australia raiding away now. 15 metres. The penalty's gone to Australia. And who's the referee calling out? It looks like Harvey, the hooker Harvey's been called back for a late tackle on, or a tackle on Kiss, who didn't have the football. The referee Whitfield laying the law down. See if we can pick up the incident here. Watch for Kiss, number 5 for Australia, who is tackled without the ball. Coming back inside. And there is Harvey putting Kiss down without the ball, and that's the reason for the penalty. Back with the play now as Australia spin it wide. It's to Miles. Running off him as Kenny. Kenny still going. Swiveled. Got an overhead pass out there for O'Connor. O'Connor came inside Bell. Still running across field now, O'Connor. Links up with Cleal. Cleal puts his head down. A one-handed pass back to Simmons. Simmons under a high one and caught inches from the line. How close is that? Simmons to play it. Sterling dumbing half. Got a pass back to Lewis and he can score. It had to come. They were so close, the Australians. Simmons was all but there, and a quick play the ball, quick hands, and Lewis was able to charge in for Australia's try. That's how close Roy Simmons was. Quick play the ball from Sterling across to Lewis. Head down, momentum and everything across, takes the tacklers with him, and Lewis in for another Australian try.
Well, the build-up was the try. What Lewis done, which you expect him to do, which he's very good at. He crossed and run that 4 or 5 yards, but to get it a metre out from the goal line with 30 seconds to go, that was the big play.
That's 30 seconds to go, spot on, Jack. And where New Zealand were pressuring Australia just 60 seconds or so before, Australia very quickly turned that around to post yet another try. Now here's O'Connor to attempt the conversion. He's only just outside the right-hand upright. And it's there. So Australia go further in front. 18 points to 6 as half-time is signalled. The players leave the field, and as they leave us, New Zealand viewers leave us as well. We'll be back for the second half. For the rest of Australia, we'll be back with Mike Gibson and Jack Gibson in just a minute.
Players to come out for this second half, and there's some Kiwi supporters probably a little more dejected than when they arrived here for this second test, because Australia at this stage leading by 18 points to 6, having scored 3 tries to 1. Look to have it well, just about shot to pieces. I said before this afternoon on Wide World of Sports, I thought Australia would run New Zealand off their legs on this very fast Sydney Cricket Ground surface, and at this stage that's what they're doing. But at least they got out of the dressing room, as Jack Gibson said. He wasn't sure if the Kiwis would even front up again, but here they are, and I'm sure they'll give a good account of themselves in the second half. But boy, do they have some work to do, having had plenty of possession in the last 10 minutes or so of that first half and doing just about nothing with it. And there's Mark Graham trying to exhort that bit of effort out of the Kiwis, who are on the wrong side of an 18-6 scoreline as we prepare for the second half. Had a strong first half, Mark Graham, but I thought his back line was very ordinary. I can't see much there at all, and the Joe Rapati, Mark Elia centre combination has not done a great deal at all, and whenever Australia have got it out wide, they've run them ragged. And here come the Aussies now, led by, no doubt, a very confident and very happy skipper, Wally Lewis. Let's have a look now at that try that Wally Lewis scored just before the half-time break with 30 seconds to go. It came as a result of a concerted burst of football from the Australians.
Running up in was Kenny. Kenny still going. Swivel. Got an overhead pass out there for O'Connor. O'Connor came inside Bell still running across field now, O'Connor. Let's check with Bell. Inches from the line. How close is that? Simmons to Blair. Sterling dummy half. Got a perfect.
And that was it. Wally Lewis going over. Australia went to the front 18 points to 6. They're kicking off now for the second half. Joe Rapati will do the honours. Doing the honours for us, Darryl Eastlake.
Thank you, Michael. Everything's set now for second half. 18 to 6. Joe Rapati drives up for the Kiwis. Peter Sterling brings it back for Australia. Possession held. Australia 46 tackles, New Zealand 79 tackles. So they've had their chances with the ball, New Zealand, but certainly haven't been making the territory that we expected of them. Roach slips a lovely ball across a Cleal, and he's just brought down with a little ankle tap there. Stumbles, and they're almost to the halfway line. So Australia picking up where they left off, as I noticed Sterling is carrying a bandage on the arm. Here's Lewis weaving his magic almost to the halfway line. Roy Simmons, dummy half, flicks one out for Sterling. Sterling immediately puts the ball in the air. Dean Bell and Kemble going back. It'll be Kemble that'll take the ball right on his line. The Australians have him ringed, and they take him too. Stephen Folkes doesn't miss too many people. They don't get round Folkes too easy. As Bell now goes a run from dummy half, but Cleal takes him with the help of Tunks. Sorensen. Another heavy couple of metres. He's made some tough metres here this afternoon, Sorensen. From Harvey, it goes back to McGahn. McGahn was going to kick, but he gets a pass off the deck to Freeman. He's wrapped up. So the Kiwis going nowhere again. They've got to start to clear their territory. Now they get the ball in the air. Taken by O'Connor. O'Connor running very strongly back. Tries to use the step, but Mark Graham waiting to take him. Royce Simmons, dummy half. Little run-ons going everywhere as Simmons puts out another pass. This time for Gene Miles. Centre field, Australia. About 32 metres out from the Kiwi line. Sterling. Wrapped up this time, though. Too much black and white defence. Australia now keen to get the ball out. We've got plenty of runners as Pearce unloads. He gets it to Folkes. The Kiwis just take him. But they're inside the 22 by about a metre as Lewis gets them running off Cleal. Cleal comes back, unloads back to Lewis again. Australia looking dangerous as Pearce is wrapped up with McGahn. And that time Australia went nowhere. Back it comes for the kick. Lewis has a drop shot. It's a horror. A terrible kick, and the crowd erupt. Very rarely do you see Lewis miss a ball with his boot. Great kicker of the ball. Right, Roy Simmons, dummy half. Lewis, Sterling. And here the runners come as Gary Jack. Written down with McGahn. He's played well, McGahn. Also played well in Auckland too. And Australia raiding away again, and they're back inside the 22. And there's some high tackles going, and his arms swinging everywhere. It's a fourth tackle. Big Roach won't worry him. Tunks, the second member of the green machine, takes it up. Only 12 metres out. Simmons doing a bit of pointing there as he waits at dummy half. Flicks the ball out to Sterling. Sterling with a little grubber kick. Plenty of chasers coming through too. It's O'Hara that gets tackled down in the in-goal area. Well, Jack, I don't know what the Kiwis have got to do. They seem to look better every time they kick, but when Australia kick like this, they just have them at 6s and 7s.
Well, if you look at this play, you give a little back shot there. I wonder if they credit Filipano with a tackle there. But what I'm trying to say, there's a bit of doubt creeping into New Zealand's play.
Kemble takes the clearing kick. Back it comes for Sterling again. Goes on to Kenny. Sterling onto Pearce. Pearce straightens up as he comes to the attack. Crowd 34,302 here at the Sydney Cricket Ground this afternoon. Roach trying to bust that line and get the arms free, but they wrap him up. He's had a strong game again, the big fella, Ian.
Sure has. They've had the benefit, of course, of playing for New South Wales, this Australian pack. They've had plenty of teamwork together, plenty of training runs as they still raid away. Look at Tunks running straight ahead, running with more freedom than I've seen him for some time. Across to Folkes. Miles picking it up from behind him. Finally put down just inside the quarter line. Yes, this New South Wales and Australian pack have had plenty of training time together, so they're working well as a unit. The bomb from Sterling taken easily by Kimball, but caught in his own in goal. So play will restart from the goal line again, but the touch judge is in to report something. Who are they calling out? Sorensen is being called out. Sorensen being spoken to again by the referee on that touch judge's report.
I was trying to wonder what Robin says to them. He's been talking to them a lot, but nothing happens. Just goes on with the game.
Pearce running straight into the defence. Just outside the quarter line now, Pearce. Tackles are against pretty viciously. Across with Sterling. A clever switch of play to Folkes. Simmons wanting him to play the ball quickly. Is it across to Sterling? Now to Lewis. Linking up with Kenny. Kenny finally stopped just inside the quarter. Simmons giving it to Roach and to Jack. Bell coming in off the wing to hold him. That's with Sterling again. Again, that kick from Sterling. Picked up this time by Hugh McGann. Now O'Hara. 10 metres out from the New Zealand line. Australia lead by 18 points to 6. And New Zealand really have to get on the board quickly in the second half. The Australian defence is very, very tight. McGann plays it just inside his own quarter. Sorensen. Australians are very keen to tackle Sorensen. Peter Sterling being attended to by Larry Britton, the Australian trainer. As Kiwis raid away strongly, and look at Bell clapping on the face. Cream in the halfback it was, and still going the Kiwis. Owen Wright going for the line. Owen Wright pulled down only 5 metres out from the Australian line. The Australian defence trying to organise itself quickly as Wright gets to his feet very slowly. Blindside. Here comes Rapati. Caught by Cleal. Last tackle signal for New Zealand. Cross to Elia and McGann. Sorensen again. And here they come, the Kiwis. O'Hara's in to score. Good backing up, quick passing from the Kiwis. And Dane O'Hara in to score. Touch judge is in again to report an Australian player, but the try has been awarded. That pass from Sorensen was a good one, and that one from Graham, an even better one. That created the extra man. O'Hara was able to go over untouched to score that try.
Well, it's a pretty smart try. This Australia should have been penalised much earlier, but I'll give it to Robin Whitfield. He let the play go on, and eventually they crossed that line.
The try scorer, Dane O'Hara, and it's Steve Roach who has been spoken to by the referee again on a touch judge's report.
Well, I think Steve Roach is growing up now.
Well, New Zealand had to score first in the second half to stay in the game. They've done that. Now Filipina will attempt to add the extras. He's taken it back to the quarter line. He's brought it 10 metres in from touch. Filipina has kicked some very good goals. In fact, he already scored his 100 points in this game so far for his country. Last sight. 2 paces. And there it comes. And it's there. Fine kick from Filipina. So it's Australia 18, New Zealand 12.
At the Sydney Cricket Ground, 34,000 plus go up for the Kiwis as they fight back in this test match. 18 points to 12. Australia ready to kick off through Lewis, and they do it pretty quickly too. Mark Graham letting it go. Freeman, who's played very well, a little halfback. Northcote Club in Auckland to be pretty proud of the performance he's put on for New Zealand as Mark Graham takes a giant stride up the Sydney Cricket Ground pitch now. The Kiwis playing with a bit more confidence, Jack Gibson.
Well, it was an excellent effort. Even before that, they scored that try. Their defence when Australia had the ball was excellent too.
McGann with a big kick now, and they're chasing a lot more keenly. Ball, awkward bounce again for O'Connor. It's coming back. O'Connor, ball, diving for the ball, but the referee says play on. The Kiwis have it. Attacking they are now. Filipina comes in almost to the 22. Harvey the hooker. Freeman doesn't want to know about play at the moment as Ropati spins it out to Prome. Prome wrapped up pretty quickly, puts a short ball up for Mark Graham. Again, they run away. The chance for the Kiwis now. They mishandle it and they put it down, and there was a golden chance. O'Hara again. Ball just mishandled, couldn't take the ball cleanly, and they had Australia stretched. There's the pass from Kemble that went to Dane O'Hara. He tried to juggle it, did everything he could to take the ball. This scrum now packed just outside the Australian 22. Australia's ball with Gary Jack up in the back line. They're pretty keen to meet him now, though. They're trying to keep Australia pinned down, but it's a very good, strong, bustling run from Gary Jack. Wally Lewis clears it out through Miles. Comes on to Pearce. Australians call now. The crowd getting behind the Australian green and gold as Roach takes it up. Plenty of atmosphere here at the Sydney Cricket Ground as Miles now winds up. They've grasped them, and the Kiwis have done a good job to keep Australia pinned down this time. Kiss with the ball. Back it comes with a clearer through Wally Lewis. Gets the ball in the air, but they've read it pretty well, the Kiwis. Dean Bell. Plenty of pace, this fellow. Puts the step on. The goose step, but they read it well and take him centre field. 32 metres out from the Kiwi line. Kemble thrown down. And the Kiwis need to get organised quickly now. They've started to show some spark in their second half. As McGann gets one off the ground to Elia. Can't be taken. Kenny gets it onto O'Connor. O'Connor stepping and still going. Elia comes back with the help of McGann, and they wrap him up. But they're inside the 22 now, the Australians, as Roach goes forward. Gets a good ball up for Cleal. Cleal brought down. Harvey round his legs. Simmons gets one round the corner. Goes on to Stephen Folkes. And Folkes is only about 4 or 5 metres out as Wally Lewis gets set, a dummy half. Out it comes to Sterling. Sterling gets it on to Miles. Miles has Kenny there. Kenny tried to handball it out to Gary Jack. They still keep it alive. Let's Kiss. Kiss stepping, but brought down probably 4 metres out from the line, the Kiwi line, as they raid away. Simmons gets it on to Sterling. Very quick hands on to Miles. Comes back to Lewis. A bad bounce. He manages to get it out, and they wrapped up, and that's a great tackle. But they've kept it alive. Here's Tunks. Tunks roaring down the line. The ball goes out for Simmons, and he can't handle it and falls on it. Well, the pressure from Australia, but the New Zealanders are holding them out. Sterling on to Pearce. Pearce straightens it up, looks to get it back to Miles, but can't. And it's a changeover, the second of the match. Well, the Kiwis' defence then withstood some pretty strong pressure, Jack, and did it pretty well.
Well, since half-time's been over, I must get that movie. They had a look at it, but they certainly improved on their defence and offence.
Wrestling match going on with the ball, but Robin Whitfield says play it. Prome goes for a run and makes 4 or 5 metres. They'll want to clear it out of here pretty quickly. Owen Wright tries to slip one out from underneath, but can't. Liam Maurice are a different side, aren't they?
Playing with a lot more confidence. They certainly are. 18-12 the score. Australia lead. Kick charge down, picked up though by Cleal. Away goes Pearce. Pearce has lost it though. and knocked over the dead ball line. Oh, a near thing for Australia. They were almost in. Came from a charge down. McGann tried to kick it. It was picked up by Cleal. Away to Pearce, and Pearce just lost it there in good defence. And over the dead ball line it went.
Well, he was getting ready to pass it, and he lost the handle. But certainly they had a little luck there, New Zealand. And probably deserving so, because they've played well before this.
And now they're trying to bring the ball out from the danger zone. They're pinned just in their own quarter. Lapina plays it. And away goes Owen Wright. Ball loose though. Sorensen couldn't handle it. Picked up by Australia. Royce Simmons fell on the loose ball for his side. And the pass has gone to nowhere. Picked up by Lewis. Well, lack of understanding in the Australian side. Simmons back to dummy half now on his own. The runners are calling, but they're overrunning the pass. Now Sterling moved into that dummy half position, got it away to Pearce again, trying to look for a support to hand it to, but couldn't find one. In centre field now. There goes Sterling blindside, away to Gary Jack. Jack caught right on the quarter line. Last tackle signalled. Back with Sterling. The kick through from Sterling. Plenty of chases. And a fairly lethargic effort from Prome. He just ambled back, and the following Australians were pretty close.
Well, Prome did give it a chance to run out. It's a big decision that if it goes out, they've surrendered 22 metres.
Yeah, he waited to the last minute. So a goal line dropout again. Australia lead by 18 points to 12. And here's Sterling. Still going. Sterling, his great career record, surprisingly playing his first test match in Australia. He lost the ball though. Here's Rapati. Rapati back into the centre field area. They made about 10 metres. Now Freeman still going. Almost to the halfway mark. Sorensen dummy half. McGann. Dean Bell. Pass inside for Kemble. Still going as Mark Graham takes inside Australian territory. Lost his boot. Back for Sorensen. Now Filipina bumped off Kenny. But caught by Sterling and Pearce. Owen Wright. To Rapati. Rapati caught and held 10 metres inside Australia's half. Freeman again. Offloading. To Elia. Now it's back with McGann. The kick from McGann sends O'Connor back to his own line. Plenty of time to pick it up though. O'Connor's got Jack with him. He's going to run it out. Bell's chasing him. Bell can't get near him. O'Connor, a pass back inside for Gary Jack, and linking up with him is Wayne Pearce. Running off him was Crusher Cleal. Fine passing and running from the Australians, and it's still alive as Gary Jack down the touchline. Tackled by Mark Graham though, but that's fine football, Jack.
It's great football, but they picked up 60 metres. But he's run out. He's let him get him over the sideline. From here on in, it's a New Zealand ball because every scrum has gone to feed.
Harry Jack with nowhere to go, and Mark Graham coming across in cover. A 60-metre gain in that one movement. As the scrum goes down, 32 metres out from the Kiwi line. 18 to 12, Australia lead. It's a punch up in the scrum. The scrum has erupted. Plenty of punches being thrown from both sides. The referee said play on, and they're doing that. Now he stopped it. Well, Royce Simmons having plenty to say. And who should be the last up from the scrum but Kurt Sorensen? Surprise, surprise. Now the referee issuing instructions and warnings to Steve Roach, Royce Simmons. Well, there it is. You can see. I don't know how that started, but there was plenty of people who wanted to finish it. Not too many people not involved. Who started that, Darryl?
Does it matter? There's the hooker Harvey with a little mouse under the eye. So he didn't duck too quick. Steve Roach. By geez, had some tongue lashings from Robin Whitfield today. The big fella. And Robin Whitfield's given out some plenty of tongue lashings, but he gives the penalty to the Kiwis.
Well, all the talking and the finger pointing, he still hasn't given anybody a sin bin tip. The only thing I can say, no one's listening to him.
Gary Kimball finds the line, so the Kiwis come back, and the scoreline is 18-12, and they're in a better position they've been from a while now as they come running forward again, the black and whites. Harvey the hooker has a pretty good game. I think Freeman the halfback's gone very well too. He's a pretty nippy little player. That's getting the ball out. Freeman there getting on to big Mark Graham. Which way are they going to go? I think they came the worst side they could have. Too much defence there as Elia flicks it back, but I mean they're going nowhere. This Australian defence is swarming all over anything that's black and white that's moving or standing still at the moment. Out it comes to Freeman now. He's got Olsen Filipina there. There's Dean Bell. Now he's got some pace, Dean Bell. He's in looking for some work. Prome. Again they kick. This time they might find the line. They do, and that's a good kick. That's a much better kick.
Well, the last time they were in our 22, they scored a try. This is the second time this half.
There's a very big contingent here. I heard Mike Gibson say this morning that Bondi would be empty today. I think they're all there at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and they're doing a great job supporting the Kiwi side too. The roar's going up, Kiwi, Kiwi. This scrum's a mess. Robin Whitfield bumping players and whatever. But Australia have got it. And Wayne Pearce goes for a gallop. Quickly wrapped up though and slammed down. Peter Sterling, dummy half, waiting for the ball. Amazing to think this is Peter Sterling's first test ever in Australia. He's played in France, New Zealand, Great Britain, Wembley. Some amazing feats in football, but it's his first time playing in the green and gold here in Australia in a test. Royce Simmons now dummy half. The Australians nice and deep. And here's Roach. He's looking for some work today. He and Peter Tunks, who've played well, have gone forward all day. Back to Lewis in the air, trying to split between the wing and the fullback, but Kemble brings it back. Pretty stylish fullback, this fellow. He's always in position. Back to O'Hara. O'Hara running across the field, tries to straighten up, but just runs into this Australian defence. Stephen Folkes tackled his heart out today for Australia, as he did in Auckland at Carlaw Park in the mud. Third tackle now for the Kiwis, and they're still midway between the quarter and a half. They're into the ground. Back to Freeman. Oh, passes too hard. It's handball back to Australia. The man I was talking about being such a strong defender, looking for plenty of work, but here's Pearce. Hasn't he looked for some work today, both in defence and attack? Back to Simmons on the Tunks. Simmons to Sterling, on to Lewis. Out it comes to Kenny. Kenny wrapped up pretty quickly though that time by big Joe Rapati. Miles, the dummy half, gets it onto his Queensland colleague in Lewis. Back to Elia. Bit of a step, Elia. Oh, he's a good player. This fellow, he's run right through the Australians on a great run. Mark Elia has made 15-20 metres with some fancy footwork. Taken play to the halfway line. Mark Graham out to Olsen Filipina. They're looking for some speed out there, but this Australian defence really good out wide. Anything the Kiwis start, they just chop down straight away. Mark Graham again with Prome running off him. Ball is loose. McGahn comes up with it, but Robin Whitfield says, no, we'll have a scrum.
Well, I've had a couple of those today. We have somebody wounded there, number 10. He's got a name like Peter Tunks that normally hasn't lasted a full session this year.
So the scrum down 10 metres inside Australia's half. Miles very quickly met by Dean Bell. Now here's Gary Jack. Inside goes Kenny. Caught around the ankles though by McGahn. Now Wayne Pearce. 3 metre gain. Back for Lewis. And his kick sends Elia back for it. Elia looks as if he's playing on the wing now for the Kiwis. He and Dean Bell have been switching around, but it's Elia caught by O'Connor. Now Kemble. And they work their way towards the quarter line. Well, the Australians are playing very, very well. They've 2 fresh reserves who are standing by as the Kiwis come via Rapati to the quarter line. There's Brian Niebling and Terry Lamb anxiously waiting their opportunity to get into this test match. As the kick comes back for O'Connor, but it's too good. It bounced and almost went at a 90-degree angle. Fine kick. O'Connor was back for it, but look at the way that bounced. No way of stopping that. So the scrum down, 15 metres in New South Wales half. Picked up by Freeman at the scrum base. One against the head too. It's a good scrum win. Filipina to the quarter line. Now they're in the danger area from an Australian point of view. Now blindside comes Mark Graham, linking up with Kemble. Kemble caught though. They're only 10 metres from the Australian line, the Kiwis. Australia leads 18-12. It's a cross for the hooker, Harvey. He's caught 10 metres out from the Australian line. Simmons the tackler. Dummy half McGahn. Away goes Sorensen. Pass out there for Filipinus, a bad one. Picked up by Rapati, who stuck his feet in the air as Brett Kenny tried to come in over the top. The play out on the quarter line. Back for Owen Wright. Charged down by Kenny for mine. Anybody's football. Dived on by Roy Simmons. Play on, said the referee. So the Australians via G. Miles now running strongly 5 metres short of the halfway mark. Away goes Tunks. That's the halfway line. You can just see, just gone out of your screen. 18-12. Australia clinging to that 6-point lead. Now Steve Roach slips it back for Cleal. Inside New Zealand territory now, Cleal. Plays it to Simmons. A little scamper from dummy half and linking up with Folkes. Folkes is caught. Simmons got there at dummy half again to Peter Sterling. A shot at a field goal is looking good. It's there. Field goal to Peter Sterling. That gets Australia out of that danger area. A 7-point lead.
Well, it's temporary relief. They've got to go in there 3 times. They've got to score, kick a goal and score again for New Zealand to win it. Whether they can do it, we've got 12 minutes to find out.
Peter Sterling playing his first test match in Australia, kicking the field goal. 19-12. Now Rapati will restart. Well, New Zealand's shown that they can come back when all look lost. They came back after half-time. Can they come back again as Gary Jack gets over the quarter line? Simmons to Cleal. 10-metre gain from Cleal. Now Tunks. Back to Sterling. Inside pass for Gene Miles. Miles still going. The pass out there for O'Connor was knocked down by Elia. Picked up by that fellow. He turns it. No, he tried to turn it back inside and pushed into touch. Touch judge has his flag in the air and referee will halt play.
Plenty of Australians pointing to that decision too. Here it is here as the Kiwi runs it up. Elia. And there, well, never mind. Kiwis come away with it now. Here's Dean Bell. Floats one out for Rapati. The big man winds up. But they come and get him. The green and golds wrap him up.
Well, they've got no troops on the left-hand side. There might be a chance for them.
Second scrum went against the feed, that for the Kiwis too. But see, they squander possession, Shaq. They win another scrum against the feed and they give it back to Australia.
Well, there's a little excuse for them. They've got to push the players. They're behind.
Gary Jack just over the halfway line with another good run by Chiefs. Played well this year, Gary Jack, and hasn't he played some football too? Roach, Balmain teammate, playing for Australia today and has been running forward and hard and fast all day. Roy Simmons. Get it on to the other member of that front row, and by gee, it's a formidable one for Australia. Peter Tunks. That knee, I think, has just given him a bit of a wince of pain as he got up. Yes, he's bending down, but let's hope he can stay on the field. Right, here's Les Kiss away down. He explodes. Les Kiss down the sideline. Kemble comes to him and gets him. By G, Kiss has got some place. You give him half a metre, he'll take 5. Penalty is, well, referee Robin Whitfield's come in. There's been a wrestling match going on there. He's given a penalty to Australia. But, gee, Les Kiss, I mean, he's taken a chance with Dale Shearer out through injury, and he's grabbed it with both hands. Look at the determination written all over his face, and a big step as he comes down, goes one way, goes the other, look to unload too, but the defence just met him. This is Australia's first penalty actually in the second half. Right, Australia attacking now. Can they put some more points on the board as Tunks goes forward? Filipina over the top. Mark Graham underneath. What? Big duo to meet. Lewis goes to Sterling. Sterling slips a little ball up for Crusher. Clearly turns his back on the opposition. Slips the pass. Australia still have it. Simmons, Sterling stepping, puts a pass up for Simmons. He puts his head down and goes another couple of metres. But the Kiwi defence drives him back, and they're playing well at the moment, just defending their line, the Kiwis. They're defending with everything they got. Australia applying plenty of pressure, but the Kiwis holding it out as Lewis puts the fend out, slips a ball up for Crusher Cleal. The game for Kenny. Kenny wrapped up, tried to unload and couldn't. Well, this is great defence from New Zealand. Australia throwing everything at them, and the Kiwis holding them out as Lewis puts a little chip kick through, and they just take it. And that's good play from both sides.
I'd like to get a message down to the Australian bench and to remind them they've got a couple of replacements there. They're not bad handy players. A boy called Lamb.
And a Queenslander called Niebling sitting down there waiting. As Prome plays it back to Owen Wright. He had a strong first half, Owen Wright, and hasn't done too much wrong in the second half either. He's tried pretty hard today. Just heard then. His opposite number, Roach. There's a little look back. Rapati is coming off, and Cooper is on. Shane Cooper has gone on, and Big Joe Rapati coming off. And Rapati's played well, pretty well today. He's tried his hard, and he's made some good breaks. There's plenty of him, let me tell you. He's a bit hard to pull down. In fact, a lot of the Sydney clubs thought the checkbooks might be floated for this fellow over here. He's an exciting player. Right, Owen Wright doing a bit of talking now too to Simmons. Simmons is taking no notice whatsoever. We have Niebling warming up on the sideline for Australia. Brian Niebling from Queensland. Ready to go on, maybe because of Tunks' knee. Tunks will come off with that knee. Well, the game's slowing down, but the Kiwis need to get up in Australia's half pretty quickly, and they need to do something with the ball.
Referee Whitfield giving the penalty, and Kemble will kick for touch. 19-12. Rowan Wright taking play up towards the halfway mark. Freeman. Back to Sorensen. Oh, and a very heavy tackle. Gee, that was a heavy tackle. Quite legitimate. Lost the ball too, Prome, as he felt the impact of that tackle. Here's Niebling, first touch of the ball in this test. Sterling. Pearce. Kenny. Kenny. Still going, Kenny. Climbing on the pace to the quarter line, Kenny. Will they catch him? He's there, Kenny. Oh, what a try. What a try, Brett Kenny. Putting the pace on, landing in the corner. A magnificent footballer, this fellow. Watch it with us. The pass from Sterling to Pearce. And look at Kenny. Puts the acceleration on right now. And they couldn't get near him. I thought Kemble was going to just get to him. But the pace was too much. And over he goes in the corner. That's a fabulous try.
Well, seldom you watch a game of football and Kenny doesn't do something like this. He just wanted to get there today.
Kemble got there, but all too late. Great football, Brett Kenny. Well-deserved try. But he's given this fellow, Michael O'Connor, a pretty difficult shot at goal, right from the touchline.
I'm just watching that little Terry Lamb down there. No, and they wouldn't even ask him to take off his tracksuit. Thought they might give him 2 or 3 minutes.
Doesn't look like it today, Jack. Now Michael O'Connor just missed the 1 goal today. 3 from 4 he's kicked. This is a very difficult kick for him though. Right from the touchline. Plenty of height, but the direction is astray, so the score remains 23 points to 12. Australia lead New Zealand. Well, we're certainly into the final 5 minutes. In fact, there's just about 4 minutes of play left.
Well, Australia has won this game on penalty count because they only received 1 in the second half.
So Filipina will restart play. Kick is down for Sterling to his quarter line before he's put down by Harvey. And Owen Wright over the top. Now back for Niebling. Away goes Crusher Cleal. Again, he made a pretty close to 10-metre gain. Back to Sterling. His kick sends O'Hara back. And O'Hara having a little difficulty trying to pick it up. He has it now. And he's finally put down about 45 metres or 40 metres out from his own line. 23 points to 12. Australia lead. The dying moments of this match. New Zealand throwing it around as Filipina got it away to Bell. Cooper, a little kick through from him. Waiting for it though is Gene Miles. And he stands his ground and will play it right in the cricket pitch area on the halfway mark. Sterling. A little dummy and finally getting it away to Jack. Away goes Stephen Folkes. Played very solidly for Australia, as he always does. A tight and effective player. Sterling. Lewis. Run around with Miles. Back to Lewis and finally to O'Connor. O'Connor still going. O'Connor. Kemble coming across in cover as O'Connor stepped, gave it away to Pearce. Pearce is caught by Kemble, but he's only about 5 metres out from the New Zealand line. Australia hungry for another try as Sterling stands, got it to Lewis, knocked down by the Kiwis, picked up by Simmons. Away it goes to Folkes, across to Miles. Miles, a short pass to Gary Jack. And Jack caught only about 3 metres out from the New Zealand line. Miles to Sterling, got a penalty. Not playing the ball correctly. The penalty has gone to New Zealand. A little over-anxious. Gary Jack, well, he didn't get to his feet. That's the first thing you got to do.
Yeah, it's robbing somebody out there. But he's pulled out a few rules that I haven't seen. But I like to say this: I think that Folkes has had an excellent game today, and to me, he's been certainly my man of the match.
And all the man of the match votes are compiled from all the press writers, as well as us, of course. So we'll see who does come up with it. Here's Sorensen. Sorensen is pulled down 32 metres out. Mark Graham played pretty solidly, particularly in the first half, Graham. Now Owen Wright. A one-hander to McGahn, back to O'Hara. The Australian defence equal to the occasion as the seconds tick by to full-time. Here's Filipina. Oh, and it's been picked up. The kick's been picked up by Wayne Pearce, and there's not a man anywhere near him. He plants the ball now for another Australian try. Well, Wayne Pearce's smile says it all. Olsen Filipina tried the little chip through, and he couldn't have done it any better from a Wayne Pearce point of view. He made it look so easy. Watch it again with us. Here's the kick from Filipina.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like our circuit has gone for the moment. Let's hope we can perhaps get it back. So it doesn't look as though we will get our circuit back, but I think we can assume that goal will be converted. So today's Test match coverage has been presented in association with the Lion Corporation. So let's just assume that Michael O'Connor did goal the try scored by Wayne Pearce, and Australia won the match by 29 points to 12. The third and final test at Lang Park in Brisbane on Tuesday night.